Let's talk about luxury actually worth the investment. Now, a lot of times when you see people splurging on something really expensive, you think,
oh, they're stupid, like why are they doing that with their money? I would never buy that. A handbag, $10,000.
We're gonna go through a lot of different genres of some things that you actually might be very interested in owning, and it might not be such a terrible idea. It actually might be a good investment. And I'm actually going to give you somewhat of a breakdown in potential earnings as we go along too. If you're new, I would love for you to consider subscribing down below. My name is Shea Whitney, and again, I would love to have you back. So let's get started with just kind of like working our way up from least expensive to most expensive, starting with some clothing. So this video is in collaboration with LilySilk, and you might think it's crazy to invest in clothing, but I do think that there are certain silk pieces that every woman should just have in their wardrobe, and I think silk is such a good investment, and I love LilySilk. I've been, recommending their pajamas, their pillowcases, their clothes for years. It's such high quality. My mom's also obsessed with it, by the way. A lot of my friends are. I love it. So before I even get into just some pieces to consider, I do want to say they're having like a big sale. It's like their 12th anniversary. And there's a couple promo codes just to keep in mind. You can use code SHEA12 for 12% off their entire site. So I will have them linked down below. Or you could use code SHEA25, and that's actually more for the women's apparel and sleepwear. You can buy one, get one, 25% off. Let's start with the silk PJs. I feel like every woman needs a good pair of silk pajamas because silk is actually such a good, durable, long-lasting material. A lot of people think it's like such a scary material, but really it is extremely strong. And it's so breathable. It's thermal regulating. That's why people love to sleep in it because it doesn't make them too hot. It's also antibacterial. It's hypoallergenic. People love silk pillowcases because it keeps away the dust mites, the mold, the bacteria. It's also really good for our skin because there's 18 amino acids that actually help to hydrate our skin and keep it plump. Oh yeah, and then this silk bra, which you guys know, maybe don't know, but I love a good seamless bra. And this one is 95% silk and then 5% spandex. So it's really stretchy, it's really comfortable, it's really soft on the skin. And it also comes with these removable inserts, which you can use or not use, but it really can give some extra support. Now, I also want to talk about some silk clothing because silk blouses, for example, they're so versatile, they're so timeless, they just look good on everyone, and you'll be able to wear them year after year. They never go out of style. So that's kind of like where the investment comes into play. So this silk blouse, for example, I actually have it in quite a few colors. You can get it in some brighter colors, like I love the green one that I have, but I also love the neutral ones. And again, you can dress it up or down. But I really want to mention that the silk quality is important, and that's another reason why I love LilySilk. They use the mulberry silk, which is the finest silk available. It's again very strong, extremely luxurious, and it really does last a very long time. But just be sure to click around on their site because they have so many other timeless styles as well. Like this dress I love, I sometimes wear it all by itself and it's kind of just really flowy and breathable. Sometimes I belt it. And then this shirt that I'm wearing right now, I just feel like it looks so elegant. It's just a really nice material. Again, it's something that always looks good and it really doesn't go out of style. So again, I'll have everything linked down below, like the specific pieces that you saw, but then I'll also have the promo codes and the discount codes if you want to check it out. Next, we're going to move on to designer jewelry, which yes, that actually can be a good investment. But I do want to preface with basically everything in the rest of the video. If you can't afford it, like if you have to make payments on these items, you should not be purchasing it. These are items that if you're going to enjoy it and you have the extra money, maybe you want to diversify where your money is, these aren't terrible ideas. So designer jewelry, more specifically, designer jewelry that just has a history, that has, a name for itself. A great example would be the Cartier jewelry, more specifically, even the Love bracelet, the Justin Clou bracelet, basically any piece that has a history behind it where there's yearly price increases. Those price increases might be annoying, but it really proves that if you buy it, it's eventually just going to continually go up in price, meaning you kind of have a decent investment on your hands. So for example, I do have several Love bracelets. I've got several Love rings, the Justin Clou bracelet. The very first original Love bracelet that I got, I believe my husband, I remember him surprising me with it. it cost like just under $4,000, which at the time, I mean, even now, like that's insane. Like that's a lot of money. Okay. It's a lot of money for a bracelet. But now it costs $7,000 to buy them brand new. And if I were to go to try to resell this, even crazy scratched up ones are going between $5,000 and $6,000. So if I wanted to sell this, I would make money on my bracelet. Let's talk diamonds next, which might sound surprising to some people because diamonds often have a reputation of being a bad investment, but I disagree with that under certain circumstances. So I'm not talking about like little diamonds in a necklace. I'm talking about like the main diamond in your engagement ring. If you can find one that is really well priced in a popular shape, and it has all of the certifications, I don't think it's a terrible idea to upgrade your diamond if you can afford it, because these real diamonds, like I'm not talking about lab created diamonds, which are also real, but they're also kind of fake in the fact that they are created in a lab. But I'm talking about real mined diamonds in the world. There's only a certain amount of them. And so that's why, since they're kind of a limited quantity, every year the price goes up. So for example, the original diamond that we had, we paid $5,000 for it. Now, I did turn it into a necklace, but before I did that, we were offered almost $12,000 for it when I was thinking about trading it in. So that just goes to show that, again, it is a decent investment because of the price continually increasing. And now I have my much larger diamond, which I have no plans of ever upgrading, selling, trading in, like I am keeping it. However, I can only imagine how much more it's going to be worth in a few decades when it's passed down. Next we have handbags, which is a very good category for me. I love handbags, but there's actually only a few categories of them that you really can make an investment. Most of the time it's a total waste of money, especially the designer ones. But if we're talking Chanel and Hermes, it really can be a good investment. More specifically, the Chanel classic flaps and the Hermes Birkins. But I have specific, prices that I paid for some of these, and I wanna show you how much they're worth now. Like I really feel like specific numbers are just helpful to you guys. So this is the Chanel mini rectangular. I paid $1,800 for it a few years back. It was like right when I first started my channel, and it's now worth $4,400. So it's definitely like more than doubled in price. And then this Chanel jumbo, I paid $4,000 for it. And at the time I was like, oh my gosh, I spent $4,000 on a bag. And now it's worth almost $10,000 with the crazy price increases. And that's only like a couple years. Also consider vintage Chanel in those same classic styles. I have a few of those pieces as well. I've got like a burgundy classic flap, but it's a single flap, so they don't make those anymore. It makes them kind of more rare. And then also, this beige one, which is just, it's a beautiful vintage Chanel flap. And then we have the Hermes Birkin and Hermes Kelly, which those are the only two models that are really actually worth the investment. But I'm bringing this up because I do again want to give you specific numbers. So if I were to have this offered to me brand new in the store, which would never happen, it's very hard to just get a brand new Birkin offered to you in the store. But if I were, it would cost $11,200, which I know a lot of you are cringing. It's insane. But I paid a premium. Like I bought this pre-loved, and I actually paid more than what it would be brand new, which I don't usually do, but I really did think of this as an investment. So I paid about $15,000 for this. It was brand new with the box, the tissue paper, the receipt. I have the raincoat, like it's pristine condition. And even in the short amount of time that I have owned this, it is now worth between $27,000 and $30,000, okay? So recently, there was one of our friends making fun of people. I don't think he even heard this conversation, but I heard him talking about how
could people ever spend $10,000 on a bag? They're so ridiculous.
And in my head, I was thinking, oh, I've spent more than that, and guess what? I doubled my money. All right, let's just take a quick step back. I realize that probably just sounded super annoying. I'm fully aware that most people can't just like buy a handbag as an investment. It's a lot of money. However, I still wanted to make this video because I know there's certain people interested in certain areas of luxury. And if they splurge in that area, they're just, treated like, oh my gosh, how could you ever do that? But if you follow certain criteria, you follow certain kind of like general rules, I think it can be a really good investment. So that leads us to Rolex watches. So we do have a small whole Rolex watch collection. Let me know in the comments down below if you would ever want to see like that collection video. I feel like Josh would need to be in it because some of the watches are his, some are mine. I've just been kind of hesitant to film it because I just don't want it to come across like bad, like I'm again bragging. It's really like I view this all as just like information, you know, like learning. So this is the one I wanted to share with you today. This is actually a Daytona, which is technically a men's watch, but you can get the links removed and I wear it. But it's a Daytona model. It's like a two-toned, it's just beautiful. I love it so much. But you do have to have like an authorized dealer. It's kind of like the Hermes Birkins and Kellys. Not everybody's offered one. But I do think they're easier to get than the darn Birkins and Kellys. But anyway, this was offered to me brand new. It's really expensive. It was like $17,000. I know, but if I were to resell this, I would get close to $30,000. And I have no plans of selling it. Like I love it, but it goes to show that it is a good investment. Josh was offered one actually, and maybe we'll talk about that in the future video. Crazy. Again, we're gonna keep it. We have no plans of selling it. And just FYI, if you ever even give off the impression to an authorized dealer that you're gonna resell it, they'll never sell you anything. So they actually offered me a Rolex watch. It was a women's watch. It had like a pink face on it. It was only, it was $5,000, which is like very expensive really, but I didn't love it. And as soon as I gave that impression that I didn't really like the watch that much, they were immediately like, oh yeah, we're not gonna giving it to you. But if I would have purchased it, I could have sold it for between $10,000 and $11,000. Like it was literally double the price. So another Rolex watch, just to give you an example here, it's another Daytona. It has a green dial on it, brand new. It costs $37,000, okay? Very expensive, but it's going for like $140,000 on the resale market, okay? So watches, more specifically Rolex watches, really aren't a bad investment. Even if you want to splurge and get it pre-loved and pay a premium, if you keep it on hand, it just again goes up in value. Now I wouldn't just go out and buy any Rolex watch. You want it to come with a box, you want it to come with the papers, you want it to be in excellent condition. And I really would recommend purchasing maybe a men's watch because those hold their value way more than a women's watch, and also go for more of the iconic styles. We're moving on to even bigger things here, like classic cars, which can also be a really good investment if done properly, if done well, if you find the right one that checks a lot of categories. So we actually do have a classic car that we invested in. We drive it every once in a while just to keep it kind of going. But it's not something that we're just like parading around town in, like, oh, look at us. Like this really is an investment car. And it took us years to find one. Like Josh is very into cars. And so he finally found one that checked all of the boxes, and we've already made a lot of money on it. I have not shared it with you guys. I don't know if I ever will. It's just anyway. But what you want to look for when it comes to a classic car is something that is limited in production, okay? So when you're thinking of like a Chevy Equinox, like they produce so many of those, like they're not rare at all. Like there's nothing, like it's a depreciating value, you know? That's why most people think that cars are just like terrible investments. But if it's limited in production, it's an iconic car, maybe it has interesting features like an engine that's not made anymore, a transmission that's not made anymore, maybe a body style that's no longer produced. It really can go up in value significantly over the years. And another thing that you really need to look for is a car with good service records and good history. Because if you can find a car that checks all of the iconic boxes, but it also comes with good service records and a good history, that is something that's going to maintain its value over the long run and you'll make money. Next, let's talk about land or property, because this is one of my favorite ones. And I think it's because of the history, like the family history behind it. And again, I have some specific numbers for you just to give you a visual. But my grandfather always said that land is the best investment because they're never making any more of it. And that is so true. They're never making any more land. And I feel like that statement also kind of represents some of the other items in this video, items that are limited in production or limited in quantity, that makes them more valuable. But land, like they're really never making any more of that. So I wanna fly on a picture of this list that my mom put together. This isn't all of the acreage that my grandfather bought, but again, it gives you a good idea of like what he paid and how low it was versus what it would be worth now. So for example, the first one in 1950, he bought a 30-acre lot and he only paid $500 for it. Now that would be worth between like $100,000 and $200,000. And it literally is just gonna go up from there. So if you can afford land or property, if this is an area that interests you, even though it's gonna be, it's gonna cost a lot more now, just imagine what it's gonna be like in another 50 years. So that is the luxury that's actually worth the investment, at least in my opinion. But again, I will have LilySilk linked down below in the description box. But I hope you enjoyed this video, found it somewhat interesting, and I will see you very soon in my next one. Bye.